ProGroupRacing.com.au presents Show Us Your Tips here for a midweek preview looking at Wednesday racing on the 3rd of March 2021. Joined by Beaver. G'day, mate. What's going on?
Hi, champion. Very good, mates. No complaints here.
How did the weekend treat you?
Yeah, it wasn't too bad, actually. Didn't get into the punting till sort of mid-afternoon, and probably benefited me there because Subadar, Fabagino, Very Elegant was sort of three of my very early bets, and I think I got one up on you there on Very Elegant, mates.
You did. So I guess, is that even in beers, or are you one ahead now?
I don't know, mate. Usually you owe me, don't you?
Probably. The cracking finish. Yeah, real good finish in that race.
Yeah, it was a great race.
Yeah, we were going pretty well. Even early in the day, we were going quite well. And then, like I suppose everyone, we hit the cliff, the Titanic ran the iceberg at Flemington, and it was
Yes.
a tough finish to the day. But if you picked out some of our better
Except
stuff.
the last.
Yeah, the last was good. Yeah.
Charlotte.
Well, it was $8 into about $3. We found it around the I think it was $8 when we both tipped it on the weekend, on the Friday show. So that was good.
Yes, that was a good win as well.
Just the two middle legs of the quaddie that we missed. Quick one, I'll just ask you about the 2-year-olds in Sydney. I've got a feeling we don't need to worry about any of those boys in the Colts race again, behind our president,
No.
and maybe even the girls too. I don't think the slipper winners in either of those races. Any thoughts?
100% not. Yeah, couldn't agree with you more there, mate. There's some better youngsters floating around we might see, given the look at the Todman nominations.
Yeah,
we might see some good slipper chances go around there.
Well, I'm starting to really warm towards Stay Inside and Profiteer. I think, even though it's coming through the English race, we'll see them this Saturday, and think that might be the better stuff.
And the horse up in Queensland was pretty impressive on the weekend as well. Sweet Dolly.
Yes, it was. Yes, she was. Returned nicely. Is she coming down, or?
I would like to think after that we might see her down.
Yeah, cool.
Down here, because it was pretty impressive. Wasn't a great field, but won in a canter.
Yeah, which I guess will be the story with Profiteer too. We'll see him in a proper race this weekend.
100%.
Let's get to tomorrow though. Where we will kick off at Warwick Farm. Some good track racing, the rail and the true. Similar setup was last time we had a similar setup was on Australia Day, where we could sort of come from everywhere, probably as usual, closer to the pace and swooping late in the day, not a disadvantage at all. We'll kick off with the 3-year-old maiden over the mile. Beaver, do you like anything in the first race?
Yeah, look, I thought Mar and Pa was pretty good first race start. Should have derived plenty of benefit for that and stuck to its task pretty well. Carrying the 59 is a little bit of a worry, but look, there doesn't look to be an overly strong field here. So if it can reproduce that, I can't see any reason why it wouldn't win this.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's actually, the more I delved, I think it's a real good bet here with Nash getting pretty much control. That Kenzo Day was where it ended up all right down the outside, and it held on pretty well.
That's right.
Up in distance is a big tick as well. Good way to start the day, I think, with Mar and Pa in the first.
Yeah,
both of us there.
Yep,
what are you going to go to next? The 2-year-olds,
no thanks.
I got just confused myself the more I went through that. I thought Trinity Missile was a nice win, but it was at Gosford. Horse at Beat has been to town and not done much, but then the rest, a lot of the unraced stuff, a couple of nice trials, a couple of question mark trials. So we'll move on from that. The race 3 for the 3-year-old, 68. Any opinion here?
Look, I thought this was a pretty open race, and the market suggests. I did have a little bit of a liking for Marnix. I think it would have. Look, I think it would have got plenty out of that first up run. I thought it stuck to its task pretty well. The step up to the 1300 won't hurt. Look, I think this horse will be around the money in a pretty open field. But there's a few other chances. Arctic Thunder's going well, and even much, much better. They were both pretty good first up after a spell. But yeah, I'm looking for Marnix in this.
The big question mark for me is Kiku. I think it's a horse that's got a little bit of ability. He's been around the mark in town. 90 days off, no trial. So unusual for Waller. So I think there might be a bit of a play there. And I thought Arctic Thunder, for a friend of the show, is again Carol, another share here, was pretty impressive at Gosford. How that lines up here, powerful for the line, and looks like a stylish horse. I think they're the two outside of Marnix, which I know the market's leaning that way as well, but I think pretty safely we can play within those three, pretty much. Probably Kiku just on top as at a spec. We'll see how the market goes with that, given there's no trials. Race 4. Any thoughts? Where's your next come up here? Your next race here? I think I struggled a little bit.
Yeah, I struggled a little bit with this next one as well. Pretty open race. Look, quite right. The favourite is returning as a gelding. Its trials have been okay given the quality of horse. It's been around third behind Marway and Savatiano, less than a length, which is pretty good. And finished a fair way off around Her and Dirty Work prior to that, but wasn't really tested. So it may be worth following, but not with any confidence here.
Yeah, I thought the trials, I wasn't impressed, but then given it's a midweek horse in that sort of grade, chasing essentially Group 1 horses, I guess that offsets it. I just, again, at the price, not that interested. But then I've got nothing to beat it. So I guess we'll side with you there. See what price it gets to. The fifth race of the day's the benchmark 72 over the 1200 meters. And I think this is absolute last chance for Exotic Ruby, but I also think it's probably its best chance here coming back from a Group 2 to midweek. Before that, it was quite good chasing two reasonable horses at midweek level. Goes forward here. I think Nash is on. Is it right? Yep. Get box seat.
Nash.
And don't have to worry about the question mark, which was the Melbourne horse. I think this, if it doesn't win here, the horse is dead to me. I think around 280 is a good bet.
Yeah, no, I tend to agree with you there. It was well down in grade on its last run, and it was a pretty tough run last start in a good quality black type race. Look, should get a better run in transit here, and if it's ever going to win a race, that'll be it. And if it doesn't, I think you're right.
Yeah.
I've said a knackery.
I don't know if we're allowed to say that, but I'm sure to find a nice home as a jumper somewhere. Anything in the staying race?
No, thank you, Matt.
Yeah, same. Yeah. No need to say anything else. Race 7 is an interesting little race. It's a bit of a cracker, and I think a good horse resuming here. Do you like the favourite here? Lost him running.
Yeah, I do. I think it's going to be super hard to beat. Its barrier trial was outstanding.
Yeah.
One before that was very nice as well. And when last in work, looked pretty good as well. Won pretty comfortably. So look, this looks like a horse that might have a bit of ability. It's not an easy race, mind you. There's some horses that are going. The Neon Knights Flying was very good again last start, Marway. And to run could have some ability as well. So an interesting race, but for me, the favourite looks a pretty good thing.
Yeah, the two trials were just sensational, and its last win was good. J-Mac booked suggest some intent here, but like you say, what price would you willing to take? Do you want better than evens? I'd think so, because like Marway would have him.
I don't think you.
I don't know if we'll get it.
I don't think you're going to get better than evens.
Yeah.
I think if you get $1.90, you're probably going to do okay.
Yeah. If it's as good as I sort of think it is, then I think that's a good price anyway. But like, there's some horses that I would be backing in any other Wednesday race to run, like you mentioned, started even money on a bog before it went out. That was on Saturday. The Neon Knights Flying and Marway, as I said, with some improvement. Are all horses that otherwise I'd be pretty keen to have a good look at. Benchmark 78 of the 400 meters finishes the day, and we might have another one. I didn't overanalyze this one too much. I looked at the bottom weight. It's right down in the weights. It's finished alongside April Rain. It's finished alongside Harmony Rose, who are both, borderline on their way to group racing, at least. And I think the horse to beat here, around $3. Fast Chanel, I speak of. The only concern for me was Saigon, who was pretty impressive in its one start last prep, and might just knock him off again. But I thought if it's going to win a race here, third up, Fast Chanel, the way to play the last. How about yourself?
Yeah, look, I've gone a bit left field here, mate. I've gone for Petronius.
Okay.
I think it will, it's got good first up form. 4 starts hasn't won, but 3 seconds and a third. So it does produce well first up. It's trialled okay at Hawkesbury. Wasn't too bad. And then prior to that, last preparation, had some pretty reasonable form in some decent races. Yeah, I think this horse can run a bit of a race.
No, looking now, it's not far off Ice Bath and Cryodiris, not far off All Time Legend. Yep. Has beaten Big Boy Roy.
I think first up last start.
Yeah.
I think first up last start, last prep, finished third behind All Time Legend, less than 2 lengths.
Yep. And then 0.7 off Academy, Ice Bath and Cryodiris. That's really at $7 with Nash going on, probably leading this. Very good each way bet.
Yeah.
Hasn't missed a place. Actually, the more I look
at it. Shouldn't miss a place. Yeah, and last prep was around the money in its 4 starts. So good each way bet.
And just noticing actually, I've now got myself in a bit of a tease because Holy Rain was $3.80 on the not the greatest track in the world. Now gets Tommy Mark one. It's 30 to 1. So I'll probably have something on that as well. Now I've started just having a look at the actual market. Good race.
Yeah, it is a good race. Trevesta's, was favourite last start as well. Yeah. Look, but hasn't had sort of the tracks to suit in the pace. So it's not without a chance. Yeah, it's a pretty
good win as well.
race.
Yep, glad we did this because I've probably talked myself out of a bit there. But very good race. A little bit of a similar story at Sandown. Sum up our thoughts here at Warwick Farm though with your best. Do you have a best and a value?
Yeah, look, my value is going to be Petronius in the last race 8, number 4, and my best bet of the day comes up in race 7, number 4, Lost and Running.
Yeah, I'm with you there, and I'll just throw in Exotic Ruby as well. I think all up Lost and Running for me will be the result on the day at Warwick Farm. Let's head down to Sandown Lakeside track for the first time in a while. Rail True. I've got to mention progroupracing.com.au, of course. Check them out for their free tips as well, and plenty of stories going on there. Rail and the True at Lakeside tends to favour leaders a little bit, which we've had a bit of luck with that pattern in the last few weeks. I was skipping the first. Were you of a similar mind?
I was right with you, mate.
This is a good day's racing. I just don't have many I can stamp. The second race is a better than 64 race. I think we've got Lofty Star who'll get a lead here on potential leaders track. A few coming back from Saturday, and Laquiro won really well at Caulfield. Now goes back to last and has to round him up back 400 meters in distance. And Derive, who bolted in last start. Could you split these at all?
Look, I went for Yulong Code.
Yep.
I actually think similarly, my only concern is, does it get a little bit back out of its ground? Last start at Caulfield was in a pretty good race, which was won by Poland. Kept chasing pretty hard to the line. Not a bad first up run, I thought. And prior to that, trialled really well at Hawkesbury and also at Rose Hill. So was going well, trialled in Sydney, taken to Melbourne, and they've kept it in Melbourne, which is interesting from the Moody stable. Yeah, I reckon this is a really good show.
Good connections too. I have a thing with these Yulong horses. They all just seem the same to me, so that's why I think I passed it there. Happy to follow there in a tough race. As is the third. Did you have a thought on the third for the girls benchmark?
I didn't, mate.
No, same.
No, I couldn't find anything there.
It's, yeah, leave me out of that. Race 4 is 64, 1,200 metres. We see a horse off a really impressive win at Launceston. I don't know if you saw the replay of that. Missed the start 3 lengths and then won by 2. Very impressive win. Anglican has won quite well, returning this prep, looks in good style and gets probably close to the lead. And Home Rule probably gets the rail and the lead off a nice leader's win last start. I'm probably going to go with the Launceston horse here, and beyond. I thought it was a really nice win and might be better than 64 grade, but again, a ripper race. Any thoughts?
Yeah, I'm thinking the same as you. I'm willing to spec and beyond on the basis that they've brought it to Melbourne. First 3 runs have been ultra impressive. Gets a 3 kilo claim here. You know, I don't think it will want to miss the kick against this lot. I think there's some horses here that have a little bit of talent. Home Rule, Curran goes all right. But yeah, I think this might have a little bit of ability, and they might have some better things in store for it.
Yeah, cool. Another cracker is the girls over the 64. I could make a case for half this field. Could you make a case for any?
Yeah, I'm pretty keen on Charm School.
Yeah, nice.
I thought it looks to be a nice horse. Super impressive at Sandown in its first race start. As well, super heavily backed and won accordingly. And then went to Morfettville in a pretty good race and just didn't put its best foot forward. Started fave.
Started $2.40 against Ranting and Ecumenical. Or Ranting's Group 1 form, essentially.
Yeah, that's right. And it didn't have a lot of favours there. So they put it straight out. If it comes back anywhere near what it looked like first up last time, it'll be pretty hard to beat. But you're right, there's plenty of chances in the race, but see how we go.
The just one at double figures. I think you might get a reasonable price. It's currently $15, but you might get a reasonable price. Caniva sat outside lead and covered a lot of ground at Mooney Valley against Aqua Girl, and before that, bolted. It was a nice win, and I just thought about $15 on a leader's track could be a reasonable bet there to hopefully hold on to a place. Yeah, and then you're going through here, Redeal, not far off Odium, and a couple others, but yeah, Charm School, if it comes back the way it went out, I think it's on to bigger and better things here. Again, some keener on the back end of the day at Sandown in the front end, and I think we see another good horse in race 6 over the 1,600 meters, benchmark 64. This one for Kenny Callender. Number 9 Equals Craig on its Australian debut just toyed with him. Ran away and won by about 6 lengths. I know it's only Pakenham night form, which is a little bit like Hawkesbury in Sydney. I don't know what it means sometimes. It's a bit of a funny track. But I think it's better than 64 grade, and I think it's an easy bet to have here. Any further thoughts?
Yeah, 100%. No. I'm all over that one.
Cool. Where do we go to next? Oh, yeah, this is a Saturday race, benchmark 84 over the mile. Some of your old favourites, Beaver. Have you settled on one?
No, I haven't. I just couldn't get a line through them. I just really struggled with this race. I think their form's a little bit inconsistent here. A few of these horses have been running well without winning, and it makes it really hard for me to find which one might win tomorrow.
Yeah, I think by this stage we'll know track pattern. So if it might be a day if it's for leaders, I think Craig Williams might roll forward on Rule the World and try and lead all the way. Third up, I think it was a bit of a return to form for Mystery Shot. Last time on a Saturday, chasing Regards Marie, beat home Imperial Lad, who's in the next. If you can, I just haven't. I would never thought this horse was a miler, which is a concern. But I think can get the right one close enough to the pace, and if it does get back to the form of showing first prep, I think it can win this race. No real confidence though, so not really stamping it, but I think it's its third up chance to at least get back to some of its form from last prep. It was fine, beat the rest of the field, bar obviously Regards Marie, who's flying, and we see the form hold up all over Melbourne Saturdays at the moment. Race 8, 1400 over bench mark, 78 to finish the day, 7 p.m. How have you got any thought here?
Yeah, look, I thought Fighting Harada was pretty impressive first up, coming off some reasonable form in its previous preparation. I think it's this is another good step up for this horse, and I expect it to be winning again. Main danger, the resuming number 9, Sign of Usari.
Is that a Son of Usari? Yeah. Yeah, I just you're nervous when you want to tip a horse second up off 2-year spell. But
yeah,
it was pretty impressive again at Pakenham first up. The each way play for me, just away from that, the two I'll probably back. I don't know if I'll end up backing Fighting Harada. Each way will be Imperial Lad because I think you'll get a pretty soft lead and it's been pretty honest, like Sandown and Platini back from, I think it's on the straight racing day of Flemington, both around the $7 mark. They're the two I think can sit close to the pace and run okay. It was actually in the Zakat race at Flemington. But definitely respect, interested to see Fighting Harada if it can repeat the first up dose. Final thoughts at Sandown, the Beaver.
Yeah, look, my best bet comes up in race 6, number 9, Eagles Crag.
Mm-hmm.
And my value bet of the day, I really struggled to find a value bet of the day. Probably around the $4 mark and beyond would be my my best value.
Yeah, I'm with you again. The best Eagles Crag, and value. We'll make it Imperial Lad in the last around the $6.50 mark if it is a leader's track. That wraps up our thoughts. Oh, up north. Sorry, what have you got for us in Queensland?
I got 3 for us in Queensland, mate.
Yep.
Race 3, number 2, The Move. Drawn a little bit wide, but has pace and should be hard to beat. I'm going to stick with race 4, number 13, In Gear.
Mm-hmm.
Expecting that to do better than last start. And then in the Get Out Stakes, the last race 8, number 2, Dominacha.
Good stuff. Quick one. Do we need to worry about Kisakano anymore?
No, it's dead to me.
Okay, no, that's fine. I think especially with the girls, I think it's safe. I think I've learnt write them off sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
Once they're out of form, you want to see them at least back in it before you fall for it again. Pro Group Racing.
Yeah, had a tough run, but still, yeah.
Dropped right out, yeah. Progroupracing.com.au is where you'll find us each and every week, twice a week, as well as their own tips, their stories, and some exciting form guide stuff coming up very shortly. Check them out. Of course, subscribe to us on Spotify, iTunes, or YouTube for regular, 2 shows a week, midweek, and a Saturday show where we're back to the regular Tuesday night shows. I think Friday night racing is pretty much all done and dusted for another year. So we're getting some stronger, like we've seen, in fact, this week, some stronger and more exciting midweek stuff to talk about. Beaver, I'll see you for 4 Group 1s on Friday.
Yeah, fantastic.
September run testimonial. We see the Australia Cup, a couple in Sydney as well. Another Wait for Age race. And what else have we got in Sydney?
Todman,
the 2 slipper lead ups are Group 2s. Yeah, I'll put it up. There's a 4th one. It'll be something completely obvious that I've forgotten about. Oh, the Round Guineas, of course. Aegon back in action, beating up the rest of our average 3-year-olds. For Pro Group Racing and Beaver, we will chat to everyone on Friday. Catch you soon, mate.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.